Welcome to another great episode of Shiz and Giggles, our weekly wind down podcast where we talk about anything and everything. My name is Heather, and I will be your hostess with the mostest. But of course, I'm never alone. My first co-host, her name is India. She is a self-proclaimed food enthusiast who loves to try new recipes. She grew up in a multi-ethnic household and often helps her family prepare delicious cuisines from all over the world. Welcome, India. I got too excited.
It's all right.
Hey.
Hi, everyone watching. Welcome to Shits and Giggles. So
Yay.
my segment will be Tasty Fridays on this beautiful Thursday. We are prepping for a lovely Labor Day weekend here.
Yes,
So I'm
are.
very looking forward to it.
Awesome. I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And my second co-host, I already spilled the beans on that one. Her name is Emily. She is an artist, a dog parent, a gardener, a shower singer, also a food enthusiast. She also would like to buy and live on a lake. She wants to buy a lake house, live on a lake. She's awesome. Welcome, Emily.
Thank you for having me. It is so fantastic to be here. Yes, newfound goal as of honestly, most of my life, but dedicated goal this week. I'm going to buy a lake house one day.
Love it.
So happy to be here.
That is a great goal. Thank you both for being here. Of course, we're going to kick off our Shiz and Gigs with our weekly trending topic. And this week, we can't help but talk about hurricane season, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is real. It is here. Ida has made an entrance. She is in the building, okay? So we're just going to talk about a brief overview about hurricanes, about the season, and ask y'all a couple questions, all right? So the Atlantic hurricane season begins June 1st. I didn't actually realize that. June 1st, and it can estimate to end all the way until November 30th. These storms affect the East Coast primarily every year. For 2021, the Geostorm is forecasting 19 storms. Storm Geo, hello, is forecasting 19 storms, 9 hurricanes, and 5 even more intense hurricanes. Some say the season has been relatively quiet, but as of August 4th, we have seen 5 hurricanes, including Elsa, which was a Category 1. So I'd like to know, how do you prepare for a hurricane? Have you been in a hurricane? Do you have a hurricane memory? Let's talk about it.
My earliest hurricane memory was when I was in 4th grade. It was the end of the school day, and the next thing, and I remember the name. It was Hurricane Isabel in 2004.
Yes, girl. I remember that one.
The lights went out in school. The kids are running around crazy. It was a fun time.
It was. Mm-hmm. How did you prepare for that? Were your teachers able to prepare for
that? The teachers brought all the kids down to the basement. We had to crunch together real close, real tight. They did have an emergency kit downstairs, food and everything. So we were good. And so our parents had to come eventually to pick us up.
Mm-hmm. How about
you? I remember Isabel.
Mm-hmm.
That was a bad one.
It was. I was in Maryland at the time in what grade was I in? Oh, all those years ago. I don't remember, but I do recall that we had hail that put holes in the skylights of our building.
Oh my God.
Which was wild. Yeah, so it happens.
That's crazy.
I hope everyone was all right.
Yeah, yep, everybody was fine. I mean, that I recall as a child, yes.
Right.
We had a generator in our basement flooded because we had an unfinished basement, so it was like a concrete window thing.
Yeah.
I think everybody lost power in my neighborhood. We had at least a little tiny generator, but I remember my mom making dinner on this fireplace stovetop. Just had a pot right on top of the stove and cooked beans and chili for dinner.
Delish. Oh, here's kind of like an upbeat thought. If you could name a hurricane, what would you name it? I've actually never thought about this. So take some self-reflection. Close your eyes. What name comes to mind?
Tasmania.
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's good.
What about you, Emily?
For the life of me, I can't remember what Storm from X-Men, what her real name is. But that would be it, whatever her real name is. What is her real name? I feel like I do know it.
Halle Berry?
That's all I was thinking.
There you go. That's great.
Mine would be Princess Consuela Banana Hammock.
Oh my god.
Yes.
I'm scared of your hurricane.
Quiet but deadly.
Yes, she's coming for you. Well, we have our trending topic, and of course, we're going to connect our topics with the trending topic. So, first, we are going to slide on over to India's segment with Tasty Fridays.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tasty Fridays on this beautiful Thursday. Thank you for having me here. So first off, I'm going to talk about all the staples that you will need during a hurricane. So we're going to start with apples. Apples are the fruit that lasts the longest out of any other fruit, and they're tasty, easy to carry, and so forth. The next staple that you will need is a good old classic jar of peanut butter. I like the creamy peanut butter. It's a preference, but to each his own. Peanut butter is a top food choice at food banks. It is nutritious, delicious, easy to eat, and it does not require refrigeration. The next food item is crackers, also a classic. The crackers, you can snack on it, make little cute mini sandwiches. So which leads me to a combination of how you can make all three of these. So you can start with, yes, you can start with doing apples and peanut butter, which are my favorite to snack on. You can do peanut butter and crackers, or if you've been a little crazy, a little daring, you can combine all three, have a little apple, peanut butter, and cracker sandwich. It is delicious. And if you have some honey on hand, you sprinkle that on top.
You're making me hungry.
Yeah, it's delicious.
And it will definitely keep you full. So thank you all for joining me for Tasty Fridays. So before we go, which would be your combination?
I'm a peanut butter cracker, eat the peanut butter cracker, then take a bite of an apple.
Okay.
Not together. But all of those are like so good, and you're honestly making me like childishly snackish.
Yes.
I like graham crackers Nutella peanut butter. I also like apple peanut butter graham cracker. I also like Cheetos with chocolate pudding.
I'm gonna have to take a rain check on that.
It's delicious. Don't knock it till you try it, kind of thing. It's so good.
Spicy mole Cheeto.
No, it's specifically the puffs, not the crunchy ones.
Oh, that's so funny.
Okay, I'll be sure to try that out.
That sounds.
Just give it a go, and then you can judge it, right? Well, that was awesome, India. Thank you so much. I think I'm going to be buying myself a late night snack of that.
Yes, perfect.
Well, next up, we have our segment with Emily called Want to Draw About It?
Welcome, everyone, to our weekly segment where we usually wind down with a somewhat childish, always fun little game or exercise. This week, however, we're switching it up a little bit, and instead of doing a typical Want to Draw About It, we're going to play a game that I like to call Monet or Manet. Hint, hint, trivia games are really, really, really fun if you are potentially out of power and in a hurricane lockdown. But let's begin. Are all participants ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the rules of this game is Monet or Manet, fairly self-explanatory. We will put up an image, one of the most famous water-based, sea-based, ocean-based, themed paintings of all time or artworks of all time, and you will have to guess which name of the two that will be on screen actually did it. So first up, we have Gauguin or Van Gogh. Or as the British say, the British call him Van Gogh, and I think that's very strange. But Gauguin or Van Gogh?
I'm gonna go with A, because I haven't seen this version of a Van Gogh painting before.
I was going to say the same thing, but I'm not familiar with Gauguin. So I feel like going with Van Gogh. Speaking of which, if you've ever seen Doctor Who, there's an incredible episode where they go back in time to meet Van Gogh.
Don't. I cried so much.
I cried. It's so tragic.
It's so beautiful and it's so tragic.
Even if you don't like sci-fi, even if you don't like Doctor Who, you can watch that episode, and it is
so sad. Awesome. But it's
sad in like the best beautiful way, though.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I think we're gonna go with A.
Go again?
Yeah.
And the answer is
yes.
Van Gogh.
Sure. Excellent.
This is actually one of my personal favorite Van Gogh paintings. For those of you who, it seems like both of you are very familiar with Van Gogh, so I'm speaking to the audience that maybe is less familiar. Van Gogh is, fun fact, he did chop off his ear once and send it to a patron. It is yet to be determined whether it was for money or just because he was a little unusual. He was a little unusual. Van Gogh did not sell. He only sold one painting in his entire life, and it was to his only patron, who was his brother. He did technically have another patron in London, but it was like an old lady or something. But one of the most prolific painters of all time. Then he did not become famous or make any money. He lived destitute in his entire life until after he died. Next slide.
Onward.
Onward and upward. One of the most famous, iconic Japanese prints of a gigantic ocean wave. I'm going to butcher these names, although I am familiar with both of their work. Is this print made by Hokusai or Hiroshige?
I believe it's A.
Yeah, I think it's going to be A. I feel like I've seen this in a museum before.
I've seen this painting as a puzzle. Like, can you put it on a boat? Can you put it on a boat?
How many college art students have this as a poster on their wall? It's an amazing piece of artwork.
Yes,
but it is regularly
commodified.
Printed and commodified is the word. Yes.
Final
answer is A. Ding 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 ding! We have winners. It is a beautiful painting. He also did. If you are not familiar, the same paintings of the octopus prints. Those are wild ones. Octopus is, fun fact, like as I believe Heather knows, my deepest, worst fear of all times. So they're beautiful. I can't look at them.
They can grow up to 25 feet long.
Yeah, and it's a lot. Too much for me. I can't handle it. I'll cry like a little child.
Next.
She said, move on. All right. Now we get to the classic. Is this Monet or Manet? With no further ado and no explanation, I will throw it to my teammates, and I hope you both know, but I will not judge you if you don't.
A.
I'm going to go with A.
Ding, ding, ding. We have winners.
Yes.
Do you all know, I'm assuming since you know that this is Monet, do you know any artwork by Manet?
No, and every time you say Monet or Manet, I think you're saying mayonnaise. So
I think you said it at first too.
Manet was an artist, not quite as abstract as Monet, but is actually attributed as being one of the key, like the singularly most important turn of the century artists who moved us from being traditional, like Western art at least, traditional portraiture and straight from realism and straight from life to being a little bit more unusual, a little bit more creative. One of his most famous paintings is, I think it's the Venus of Beth something. I remember what city it is. And it's a picture of, it's a hooker. And it was unusual because that would not have been one of the accepted topics of paintings, and she's looking at the painter, which is also would not have been acceptable in 1895. I think I'm saying that right. Right. But anyway, Monet came after Manet is the biggest thing.
Okay. Who would be your favorite between these two?
Ooh.
I actually, between the two painters, while I can't pick favorites, I'm not good at favorites, generally speaking. I am a huge fan of Manet because his work is so much more provocative in a historically social context. Like what he did was so much more like, oh, you scandalous boy. Whereas Monet was one of the people that truly revolutionized technique and how free you can be with technique versus how free you can be with subject.
Good point.
I hope that's not too lofty of an answer.
It's beautiful. I love that. That was nice. I took art history way back in the day. My favorite era is like anything to do with Egyptian art. Just my jam. But this was nice. This was
Oh, you're not out of it yet.
Oh, there's another question?
You're not out of it yet.
Oh, wow.
You
Okay.
have one more and then one bonus round, which I believe nobody will get. Is this Hockney or Hopper?
B,
I'll go with
baby.
Hopper.
B. Nice.
Although both Hockney and Hopper are two of my favorite postmodern artists, this is a Hockney painting. Hockney was actually known for painting. He spent like 5 full years doing nothing but painting different pictures of his pool. And he lived in LA or something, and
It's very LA.
but both of them are very similar in style and subject matter, and I love both of them.
Hopper was giving me LA vibes, but I said his name.
Hoppers are always a little bit more, I find, a little bit more New York central, and Hockney is a little bit more
dark.
LA central,
Ah,
but interchangeable at moments.
They're nice.
For those that don't know, Hockney and Hopper, I highly suggest doing a little Google image search. They are two very, very fantastic, like 1950s and 1970s artists. And bonus round, and this one is definitely unusual.
Love it.
This painting is called The Fountain of Youth. Was it painted by Lucas Cranach or Hieronymus Bosch?
I think it's B.
I want to say B.
Sorry.
Just off of the name, it looks like it goes with this type of painting.
This is a deep cut.
But I did know that
That's my
everybody would
second
say
guess.
Bosch, because that is, if anybody does know a name from this time period, which actually Lucas Cranach is actually only really famous for this painting, and then I think a La Pieta style painting. Hieronymus Bosch, everybody more so knows him at least. But that was fun. Thank you guys for participating. I really appreciate it. I know that some of those were unusual. Which is really, really good. I wasn't sure if you guys were going to get them, any of them, honestly.
We
So
tried.
thank you for playing.
I'm actually ashamed that I got only one right, but that's okay. That is okay. I don't look at old paintings as often as I used to. All right. Next up is my segment with me. Hey y'all. So typically with our You Grow Girl segment, we talk about plants. So I'm going to expand on that, all right? Because we're going to talk about an ecosystem, which has plants. I also want to give a shout out to some office plants. We have Tim Kaine in the back, and then we have Penelope the Palm in the front. They're keeping us warm fireside. So we are going to play a game. We are going to play some trivia, keeping in line with our questions. So my co-hosts, if you could take out your phones, pull up your camera, and scan this lovely QR code, because I'd love to see your answers in real time. Also, anyone in our office, if they want to scan and play, you can.
I'm so excited. This is fancy.
It is. I tried.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, so we are going to be talking about, or rather, we're going to test your knowledge on wetlands. Okay, what do you know? Do you know wetlands? When I say wetland, what comes to your mind, Emily?
It's swampy, grassy reservoirs of water.
Cool.
Specifically, bodies of water that hold high quantities of plant life and both land and water animals.
Excellent. India, do you know anything about wetlands?
I'm just going to second Emily's answer. She pretty much got it out the park.
I like a vote of confidence.
Well, as you know, water is a highly essential resource, and it's required for prosperity on life and earth. Without water, we can't survive. But what happens if there's too much water? Okay, and with hurricanes, often we get too much water. So I want to talk about wetlands in conjunction with our trending topic. So first, we're going to go to our first question. So we have a series of 4 questions that you're going to answer. And The flow will go as follows. Okay. So first you're going to see a question on the screen, and then I'll read the question. I'll read the answers. You'll have 30 seconds to then respond, whatever answer you think is correct. And then you'll see the answer and we'll see who's in the running to win. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Excellent. So our first question is, an acre of wetland can store how much flood water? Okay. Is it 100,000 gallons, 500,000 gallons, 900,000 gallons, or 1 to, let's say, 1.5 million gallons? So regardless, it's a lot of water.
Yeah.
How much water is it? And an acre is not very large. Like, yeah, an acre is what? A modest city block.
Right.
Let's see. So we are locked, and the answer is.
I think I got that wrong.
The answer is
that was my first
1 to 1.5 million gallons. Listen up, folks. Wetlands, think of them as sponges, okay? So they can collect and store water, and it is essential to prevent flooding. They act like a sponge, soaking and storing all the excess water nearby to reduce the risk of flooding. So the EPA states that 1.5 million gallons of floodwater can be stored in just an acre of wetlands. So that's why it is so imperative around the coastlines that we have wetlands so they can store all the excess water and it doesn't get clogged up in our sewer systems and ultimately lead to the streets and just straight up flooding, okay?
That's great.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Right? Yeah, this allows the rivers to flow normally. It helps prevent natural disasters, the whole nine. And a fun fact, wetlands can actually break the energy in waves. So when you have to crash on your front door. Okay. Next question. How many species depend on wetlands for survival? Let's say 17,500, 19,500, 22,500, or 23,500.
These are a huge sum of numbers.
I know. It's awesome. It's not like we like casually talk about wetlands, you know.
I love that this is your topic. I feel very strongly about the preservation of wetlands.
It's so important, and people don't realize.
Mm-hmm.
And we're locked, and the answer is 19,500, y'all. Okay. So it's a huge number. Wetlands consist of one of the most diverse ecosystems in the planet. So a lot of the wetlands, and that's 19,500 and that includes animals and plants. So it's like the whole shebang. So I just thought that was fascinating.
Yeah, definitely.
Who's in the lead?
Rebecca.
Rebecca.
Mindful of facts.
You go, girl. Okay. Next question. The world's largest wetland is the Pantanal, and it spans across Paraguay, Brazil, Bolivia, or all of the above.
Oof.
So it's a large wetland, but how large is it? Is it just in one country? Is it in multiple countries? What do we think? What do we know about South America? Nothing. That's okay. One of my life goals is to travel to Argentina and then take a cruise to Antarctica. So hopefully soon, not soon, too soon because of COVID, but soon enough, I'd like to embark on that journey. We are locked, and the answer is all of the above.
Nice.
The world's largest wetland is the Pantanal. It is covering an area between 54,000 to 75,000 square miles. Okay. Wow. Yes. It's wild.
I'm going to have to Google like what that looks like, a Pantanal.
Yeah. So if you Google map it, it's huge. It's very cool. So Rebecca's in the lead.
Go, Rebecca.
You go, Rebecca. Which of the following is the name which of the following are names or subtypes of wetlands? I was having issues pronouncing that. So which of the following are subtypes of wetlands.
Okay. That's a hard one.
Yes. Is it a arroyo? Is it a firth? Is it a mangrove? Or is it a bight? What is it? And I purposely chose ones that sounded very interesting. And the answer is mangrove.
They call the whole type of sub-wetland a mangrove versus the tree itself.
So I actually have the definitions of each one. Okay.
Ooh, fascinating. Share.
So the arroyo, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, is considered a steep-sided gully formed by action of fast-flowing water of an arid or semi-arid region. So if it's like it was once dry and then it's steep and then like water like flies through it. That's kind of how I interpreted that. A firth is a narrow inlet of a sea or an estuary. A mangrove is a tidal swamp that is dominated by mangroves and associated vegetation. And a bight is a curve or recess in a coastline, river, or other geographical feature. Yeah.
I briefly learned about the types of wetlands in my environmental science class in high school. So shout out to my high school.
Thanks, y'all. Let's see who won. And Rebecca won.
Rebecca.
I don't know who that is, but congratulations, Rebecca.
Rebecca's good at
Shout
it.
out to Rebecca.
She's doing really well. I think I know who that is.
She is thriving.
She is 30, flirty, and thriving.
Yeah.
Which I will be in 29 days. Next up is the end. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. We have learned so much in these 27 minutes. We've learned how to survive on snacks. We've learned about art. We've learned about wetlands. Put it together, and what do you get? Shiz and giggles. Okay. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to my wonderful hosts, Indy and Emily, and a special thanks for everyone watching us. We hope to see you again. We stream every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can catch us on the following platforms: YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn. Follow us, like, and share.
Follow us.
If you can't make it, we always repost. You can find it on those platforms. Thank you so much. Happy Friday. Have a great Labor Day weekend. Bye, y'all.
Bye.